This is Peter Laws in Norman, Oklahoma. AM, FM, shortwave, amateur radio, and more. You'll hear all the latest news from the world of radio each week with Sheldon and Gilles on the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome, everyone, to the International Radio Report for Sunday, August the 24th. And we thank you for tuning in to our show. We are here every Sunday morning at 10:30 Eastern with 30 minutes of news and information on things going on in the world of radio. My name's Sheldon. We have Gilles with us as usual. And take you on a little bit of a radio voyage on today's show. A big special event coming up that Gilles will be talking about shortly that you might want to check out. But to start off with today, we have news of the Edward R. Murrow Awards. CBC Radio captures 4 National Edward R. Murrow Awards. This is by Connie Thiessen from Broadcast Dialogue. CBC Radio has won 4 National Edward R. Murrow Awards handed out by the Radio Television Digital News Association in the United States in recognition of exceptional journalism across digital, radio, and television. 3 of the awards fall under the network radio category. They include Ideas, Imprisoned Syrian Poet, news documentary, The Current, America Votes, Stories from the Arizona Border, Its Politics and Its People, news series, and World Report in Georgia, U.S. Elections 2024 newscast. CBC Atlantic in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador was also recognized for excellence in sound for To Grow in Love in the Small Market Radio category. During a year of seemingly unending challenges to factual reporting and the business dynamics of our industry, the journalists responsible for these winning entries stood out as exemplifying the very best of our craft, said RTDNA President and CEO Dan Shelley in an announcement. I and all of us at RTDNA are proud of them for their extraordinary service to their communities, their nations, and the world. CBC was the only Canadian news organization recognized at the national level, acknowledged alongside outlets like NPR and ABC News. The winners will be celebrated at the Edward R. Murrow Awards Gala on October the 13th at Gotham Hall in New York City. And we'll put up a link for you for all of the winners. There's quite an extensive list of them. It was interesting to see that public broadcasting, both here in Canada and in the United States, where public broadcasting is basically under attack, were winners of many of the awards. I think it shows the quality of their programming, how it's recognized by industry and by organizations like Radio Television Digital News Association. I wonder what's going to happen in the future if those public service and public broadcasters are not there any longer.
Yeah, definitely, because there is a high cost to also having high-quality journalism. And with the funding cuts, this is, unfortunately, would be a great story to bring up and say, look, with all of these awards, we shouldn't be cutting the funding of any of those stations. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. And there is always going to be somebody somewhere that's going to say, oh, well, even the awards are in with all the controversy and so on.
Even here in Canada, there was talk during the election campaign of wanting to cut into CBC and Radio Canada. But again, we see at least 4 major awards going to CBC. So let's hope that they're able to continue and carry on with their quality broadcasting.
Definitely. So we have a upcoming special transmission. We talked about it last year because we had mentioned, and they're doing it again this year, and it has to do with a crypto transmission from KPH that's going to happen on Saturday, August 30th at 20 hours UTC, and this comes from the Maritime Radio Historical Society. The year is 1939. War looms over Europe like a gathering storm, and deep within the quiet halls of a remote country estate, A small, secretive group of the Allies' brightest minds worked tirelessly to pierce the veil of the German military's most complex encryption device, the Enigma machine. In just 3 weeks, a critical radio transmission is expected to be sent in Morse code, a stream of meaningless 5-letter groups, indecipherable to ordinary listeners, but believed to contain plans of the highest importance. Intelligence believes the message may detail the movement of German forces in a way that could change the course of the war before it has even truly begun. In a daring operation that cost brave agents and precious resources, a codebook has been wrestled from the enemy hands. It is stained, scarred by fire, and perhaps incomplete, but it is the best chance we have. You are now part of the small team entrusted with this task. The clock is ticking. Every day that passes brings the transmission closer, and once it arrives, you must work with speed and precision to decode its secrets. The fate of ships at sea, soldiers in the field, perhaps the fate of nations rests in your hands. Time is of the essence. Crack the code before it's too late. The Marine Radio Historical Society, in cooperation with our crypto experts at the Cipher History Museum, have arranged to transmit the Enigma message via the facilities of Coast Station KPH, and that's going to happen on Saturday, August 30th, 2025, at 20 hours Universal Time. KPH listeners, intercept operators, and code breakers everywhere are invited to try their hand at receiving the transmission and decrypting the message. Certificates will be awarded for proof of successful decode, first to decode, and use of original or replica hardware. You say your Enigma hardware is a bit rusty? Perhaps your bomb is not fully operational? No problem. The MRHS has you covered. Software simulations exist for the Enigma code machine, so you can download that and check that out for an easy-to-use Enigma simulator. It is web-based, no download necessary, so on the web page there you'll have the Enigma machine, if you want, that you need to use to decode the secret message being sent out. We'll share several links here of the Cipher Museum history site and also of the Marine Historical Society. Crypto broadcast will happen at 20 hours in Universal Time, August 30th. All KPH CW frequencies, so that's very important. It's a Morse code message, which means if you're not good with your Morse code decoding, you can use software that is available to decode it on a computer, even on your smartphone. There are several apps that decode Morse code. And it's if you get a good signal, it should decode very well too, because these are sent by machines, so they're very precise, and the decoding should be pretty good. And you'll need a good decode if you want to decipher. So the CW frequencies that will be used: 425 kilohertz, 6477.5, 8642, 12808.5, 17016.8, and 22477.5. Upon completion of the CW transmissions, the broadcast will be repeated on the KPH radio teletype frequencies. So this one could be easier for those that want to decode something. 2015, so 15 minutes later, 2015, a RTTY, the transmission will be at 170 shift Baudo 45 baud, which is the same shift, by the way, used by amateur radio teletype decoding. The RTTY frequencies 6324.5, 8427, and 12585.5. And so this is going to be interesting. They are mentioning, they don't say it here, but I remember last year mentioning, do not post your decode or your secret message that you decoded online. Make sure that you keep it to yourself so that you don't, have tons of people just copying what you decoded. and send it in. You have 48 hours to send in what you decoded as a secret message, and you can have a beautiful certificate from the Marine Radio Historical Society, which is a fun event, actually. Just pretend that you're a spy, that you need to decode that secret message.
Yeah, it's I guess a bit of a flashback for people. I guess if there's some older military people out there who maybe, maybe their parents or something worked on these decoding of the Enigma machines and that sort of thing. So it's an interesting little historical lesson at the same time, and something for you to test out. Maybe you too could become an NSA agent if you're good at it, and you're looking for something to occupy you. They'd give you a bit of a challenge as well. So It sounds like a lot of fun. Again, check it out on August 30th at 2000 UTC, and we'll put all of the links up on our Facebook group and in the recording of the show, and on the YouTube channel you'll have all of the links that you'll need. We have next another pirate radio story. This one is a little bit different. We've always told you about stations that are being found and people getting fines and being warned and what have you. Well, this time it's gone a little further. This is via Nick Langan out of Radio World. South Florida pirate radio operator arrested on felony charge. Abdias Datus, an alleged longtime illegal broadcaster in the Miami area, who is also known as DJ AJ and DJ 305, was arrested while on the air Tuesday by Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office deputies. He was charged with a third-degree felony for unauthorized transmissions to or interference with a public or commercial radio station. WPLG in Miami first reported the arrest. Since at least 2018, according to the FCC, Datus has operated Unique FM on 91.7 FM without a license from Miami-Dade County. The commission proposed a $325,000 fine for Datus's operation of the station in February, which apparently did not deter his broadcasts. Datus, 50, no stranger to enforcement action, was charged with similar offenses in North Miami Beach in 2006 and 2007, according to Radio World's review of his arrest affidavit. According to the affidavit, detectives with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office Homeland Security Bureau were contacted by the FCC regarding unlicensed broadcasts that exceeded Part 15 limits, traced to Datus's Northwest 147th Street residence in the Biscayne Gardens section. Enforcement Bureau agents documented the signal on 5 separate dates in 2025, including August the 12th. On August the 12th, a search warrant was executed at Datus's home. FCC agents identified transmission equipment actively in use by Datus, who was broadcasting live, and noted it could be safely disconnected. WPLG reported that the equipment was seized. The affidavit states that when given a copy of the search warrant, Datus, unprompted, told officers the equipment inside belonged to him. He was then taken into custody. Jail records show he posted a $2,500 bond and was released. Miami FCC field agents found the station operating 8 times from 5 different locations between 2018 and 2023. On 5 of those dates from 2022 onward, agents traced the source of the station to Datus's home. Then, in March and November 2024, and again this past January, the Commission's agents observed the 91.7 FM signal broadcasting from Datus's residence. They verified that the station positioned itself as Unique FM, and the on-air operator identified themselves as DJ AJ. In February, the FCC increased a proposed fine against Datus from $120,000 to about $325,000, citing his prior history. The increased fines come under the Commission's Pirate Act enforcement, and South Florida is no stranger to pirate radio activity. We reported on the saga of another longtime alleged illegal radio operator, DJ Paz, who is challenging the Commission's $2.4 million forfeiture against him, arguing that the penalty violates his right to a jury trial. Dennis's arraignment, meanwhile, is scheduled for September the 11th. So this guy is pretty persistent and has basically ignored a lot of warnings, not paid any fines, continued to broadcast, and finally has been arrested and charged with a felony. So this is pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, and he already was in trouble way back in 2006, 2007. You would think that would be enough to just cool off, the envy of having a pirate station or something. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that he's so stubborn.
Yeah, they don't go into details as to what type of programming, what type of station it is. Hard to say. I know down in South Florida, there's a lot of Spanish broadcasting going on. There is some Haitian Creole broadcasting going on as well from the ethnic communities in the state. This one doesn't specifically state what was being broadcast, but obviously he's been doing it for quite a while. And like we said, very persistent. So we'll see what happens now. Yep. They better be careful. 91.7 will be an empty frequency with him off the air. Maybe somebody else will decide, we'll pick up where he left off. But we'll keep you up to date on this. The hearing, as we say, will come up on September the 11th.
So what's happening with our son? Well, our son this week was rather quiet for the most part. We did have a little bit of geomagnetic activity, but nothing major. Now, there's something big on the far side of the sun. There's a huge explosion that we've seen on the far side. So something is probably going to arrive during the week, maybe. That is probably a pretty good and pretty big sunspot group. Until now, sunspots are really stable, so conditions for the week ahead, for the next few days at least, as long as that big sunspot isn't there, should be quiet and should give us decent conditions. Sunspot number 76, the solar flux 121. And, if you want to witness all the propagation effects of our sun, you got to turn on a radio and listen.
This is Gregory Majewski of Oakdale, Connecticut. You're listening to International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
In our next story, courage is essential for Afghanistan's women of Radio Begum. This is by Annmaree O'Keefe, the interpreter via Radio Info Asia. In June 1951, Australia's first School of the Air was established. Its aim was to bring isolated children out of the silence of outback Australia via two-way radio and give them a sense of belonging in the airwaves classroom. 70 years later, that iconic Australian institution inspired the creation of another facility to bring education, learning, and community to a very different cohort of isolated school children, the girls of Afghanistan. In 2021, Radio Begum for Afghan women and girls started its operation, staffed by a female team of journalists, reporters, and education and health specialists. Today, it broadcasts 6 hours of radio lessons a day, as well as health, psychology, and entertainment programs, all designed to inform and empower Afghanistan's women and girls who are banned from attending school or a university after grade 6, according to UN Women. A complex patchwork of more than 80 edicts, directives, and decrees introduced by the Taliban, which came to power the same year Radio Begum began, as systematically targeted women's access to education, rights, freedom, and autonomy. Women are banned from public spaces, including government buildings, parks, and sports clubs, and are stripped of their economic independence. That Radio Begum is able to continue and complement its activities through the internet-based Begum Academy and Begum Television, which beams its programs into Afghanistan out of France, says much about the brave women behind the microphones and Begum's founder, Amida Aman. Courage is essential. On 4th of February this year, Taliban authorities raided Begum's compound in Kabul, temporarily closing the radio station down. In a statement on the social media site X, the Taliban informed ministry said the station had been suspended because of multiple violations and for providing materials and programs to a TV station based abroad. That station was Begum's own television station in Paris. 2 male employees were arrested in the raid. The radio station was given permission to resume broadcasting later that month, but access was only made possible 3 weeks after that approval, when the Taliban's General Directorate of Intelligence finally lifted the seals placed on the premises. The 2 staff members remained in detention, and authorities demanded that any resumption of radio broadcast adhere to strict conditions, including a formal ban on producing any television content. Reporters Without Borders this year found that more than 2/3 of the 12,000 journalists in Afghanistan prior to the Taliban takeover have left the profession. 8 out of every 10 women journalists have had to stop working. In the annual ranking of press freedom, Afghanistan sits near the bottom, just above Iran, Syria, China, North Korea, and Eritrea. Amid the perils and restrictions, Radio Begum continues to offer a daily program of 6 hours of radio classes in Dari and Pashto languages, plus other programs designed to give Afghan women a voice, all produced by the female Afghan team. Begum TV broadcasts 24/7 into Afghanistan via satellite with video courses covering the entire Afghan school curriculum from years 7 to 12, both in Dari and Pashto languages. So this is, first of all, takes courage, because you never know what can happen. You never know when you can be arrested for distributing what is considered by the Afghan government very often illegal content. But it is very nice to see that at least there's some way that these women can get educated and have information. It's very important.
The story mentions right off the top about the Australian system that they used for many years. I believe they still use it in some areas of the School of the Air. And that has been adopted in a few other countries around the world as well. I know there are certain countries in Africa where that's going on, particularly reaching remote villages and places like that where, standard school is difficult to handle. Just may not even exist in some areas. So using radio for those purposes is just an excellent way to reach a lot of people with a service like that.
Hey, if you want to give me more education, if you do it by radio, you've got me on board.
Yeah, I know I've learned a lot of stuff from listening to the radio over the years. So I'm not a very good reader. So when it came to learning things, I preferred listening to things, and I mean, what better way than with radio, and to be able to get it from all over the world as well, hearing things that you didn't maybe hear in conventional local radio stations was really just amazing. I always loved geography too, so
Yeah.
It was great to hear about all these different countries. And a big map up on the wall, and I have this big map up here with little pins on it of all the different places I was able to hear. So yeah, it's a great way of learning things, that's for sure.
Yep, definitely. I was also very good in geography classes. Like, I had lived that. With shortwave, it was perfect.
Oh yeah, it just fit like a hand in a glove.
So we have upcoming amateur radio DXPEDITIONS and special events.
Yeah, we should take a moment and explain what these things are first, maybe. Some of you may not know if you're not a ham operator or you're new to our hobby. We talk about these DXPEDITIONS. There are places around the world that are, sometimes a small island or a very remote location where ham radio operators like to go and set up a station, make contacts with other ham operators all over the world. And some of these places, it's like a scorecard. They keep a scorecard of all the different places that they've been able to talk to somebody from. So the ones that we mention here on the show are these DXpeditions, where a group of hams or one guy, one woman in particular, have gone to a place, got permission to transmit, set up a radio station, ham station, and start making contacts with people around the world. So we pull out a few of these each week for some interesting places out there that you might want to try to pick up on the radio. So the first one is a possession that belongs to Finland. It's called Market Reef. And Markus, Oscar Hotel 1 Mike November, will be active using call sign Oscar Juliet 0 Mike November between August the 24th and August the 31st. He will be operating on HF as well as 4 and 6 meters, and using all of the modes, CW, SSB, and digital transmissions.
We have DODECANESE, or RHODES Island, and this is part of Greece, actually. Darrell, November 3, Juliet Whiskey Juliet, is going to be active with a call Sierra Victor 5 / his own call until August 25th. No QSL cards, but he's on the logbook of the world and the QRZ logbook also, and club log.
Down in South Pacific, we have Lord Howe Island, well-known DXpeditioner, world traveler, and winner of several CAS awards, Janusz SP9 Foxtrot India Hotel, informs DX World that his next activity is going to be from Lord Howe Island. He'll be operating his call sign Sierra Papa 9 Foxtrot India Hotel / Victor Kilo 2 during August 27th all the way through September the 13th.
South Sudan, Dia, Yankee India 1 Delta Zulu, is going to operate as Zulu 81 Delta until the end of August. And the operations are from 40 to 6 meters using SSB and FT8. And I believe I saw that call a few times in FT8 in the past week.
And finally, we have from Tanzania, Chaz, November Kilo 8 Oscar, will be active as 5 Hotel 3 Delta X-Ray between August the 31st and September the 21st. Operation from 30 to 10 meters using CW and FT4 and FT8 during his spare time.
And we are out of time.
We thank you for tuning in to our show today. If you'd like to reach us, our email address is radioreport@yahoo.com, and our show is live streaming and archived at ckut.ca. We do have a Facebook group. We are pushing our way towards that 1,000 member mark. We want to welcome 3 new members this week. Cristiano, who is in Italy, Frank Scully here in the Montreal area, and Kenneth Fowler in Virginia. We thank all of you for joining. We invite the rest of you, if you haven't already done so, look for International Radio Report on Facebook and join the group. And finally, you can listen to our program at your convenience on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@IRR, and you can subscribe to the channel there as well. So that does it for this week. We hope you will tune in again next week here on CKUT FM 90.3 in Montreal for the International Radio Report. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
This is Radio Prague, Czechoslovakia.